Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So, huge treat for us this week is to have a brand new face in the channel. We've talked a lot recently about trying to build a team that provides you guys with more value and represents the viewer more than just, you know, Matt testing or me testing, or, you know, at speeds where you guys maybe can't relate as well to certain shafts and that sort of thing. So we absolutely have heard that, and we've worked quite hard to try and kind of identify the right people, the right swing speeds, the right handicap skill level, all that sort of stuff. And I think we may have found the main man. I think we may have found our new talent for a really important sort of demographic who watches. So we've got my great friend Ron Pukowski with us.
Welcome, Ron.
Good morning.
So Ron and I have been friends for a long time, but we met a long time ago, and you became a client first.
Correct.
Before we became great friends. So you were looking for, at the time when I wasn't, before even TXG even existed, you were sort of trying to improve your game. You had some needs that really this type of business caters, this type of model caters to your specific needs. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your game and what those needs were?
Okay, well, I'm a middle handicapper.
Yep, so middle being?
11 or 12, depending on the
perfect.
slope and the course in the tee box. I play 50 rounds a year.
Right.
I belong to a club.
Okay.
I've had a coach for 8 years.
Yep.
And in fact, my coach encouraged me to refer me to see you 8 years ago.
Yep.
And I'm very passionate about my game. I retired about a year and a half ago. I'm 64 years old. I'm a senior. I'm very passionate about the game. I keep wanting to get better and better. And even despite my age, I'd say the best 8 years have been the last 8 years. And I can even argue last year was my best year. So I'm trying to defy aging, defy gravity, if you will, and just trying to get better.
I think that's brilliant, and I think that's why, for me, you are such a perfect person for us to have in the position of kind of one of our testers. And I think the age, the handicap, your story is so unique. I think that you have continued to improve, and that's something I have seen occasionally. Most people, it's damage limitation at this point. Just being truthful.
It's very true. Yeah.
You know, the aging, you know, will maybe change certain things such as your speed and sort of maybe your ability to play as much, or even your desire to play as much for some people. That's never, in the time you and I have known each other, you've never lost that. You're as passionate now as you were then, and you
even
still
more
have
so.
maybe more so.
Because I'm retired, I've got more time and energy to devote to the game.
Absolutely, that's exactly it. So guys, hopefully, we're hoping that there's so many people watching this going, I am Ron.
Absolutely.
I am Ron. This is me.
Comment.
Yes.
So in summary, I'm a senior,
Yeah.
middle handicapper, plus I swing the club slowly. So I hope to connect with your community.
I think you will, for sure.
For sure.
So we've started Ron with irons. He's got a set of I-25s that are about how old, Ron?
5 years old. They were
5 years
fitted
old.
by Ian.
By the man himself. So in the 5-year span, you'd say iron technology in this category, players distance iron, has come a long way.
It's almost became
I should say it became a category,
Yeah,
basically. So Ron hasn't really had the advantage of having a fit for that type of club. So that's why we wanted to start there. Probably the biggest room for improvement in his bag is with the irons.
Yeah, is that fair?
Yeah, I would agree. So I'm asking the question, how many generations of improvement have I missed in 5 years? I'm thinking a couple.
Yeah, you must have.
Yeah, and I think we try to kind of pass that message on a lot, that 5 years is about the max time that you want to leave it before diving back in and testing again. You know, any longer than that, and you're kind of really missing out on something. You can probably see that 3 to 5 year window's manageable. Technology might not skip on. You know, is last year's drivers and this year's drivers, are they that different? Probably.
Yeah,
probably not. Probably not massive, but the biggest impact we can make is the people like yourself who haven't been, you know, looked at since 2014 or 13 or something along those lines.
Very true.
And thanks to great coaching, my game's evolving too.
Yeah,
so
that makes
you're
a big
becoming
difference
more
too.
knowledgeable about your game. You're finding other ways to improve, and you really go at it from a holistic sort of approach? You're looking at everything in order, trying to squeeze everything out it.
Yeah, I'm grinding it out. My nickname in my club is a grinder. I earn everything I get. I earn. So it's coaching. It's equipment, and I try to take care of my body, mobility, stretching. Not so much on the strength and power, which is not good, but it's all those three things that I'm looking at to help me get better.
You don't want to play Ronnie at match play.
Is he?
That's
he's
the
sleeper. He's a sleeper out there.
Well, he's just a grinder. He's never out the hole. Ronnie's over there, line 3, over in a tough spot, and then the next thing you know, you're spacing a 6-footer to a half of the guy.
That's hilarious.
Which I love about you. I'll do. Okay, why don't we get some numbers and see what's going on? And you brought your golf ball for testing today.
I play rightfully or wrongfully, I play the tailor-made Project A.
Yep.
Okay.
Why? Just hoping that I think it's a lower compression.
Yeah, it is for
It
sure.
feels better when I make contact vis-a-vis a tailor-made TP5 that feels hard to me.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to get spin, which is one of my big issues, as you know.
So we look at all the things for Ron that helps him get more flight, more air time with the irons. And we certainly obviously know that spin is one of them, but I think ball speed could be a key factor today. Really nice. So Ronnie, tendencies have been to hang back, be a fraction on the shallow side, and the hands get a little active from there. That's we've always found that to be the fight, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm working on stuff right now with my coaches to get my weight to the front and have.
Yeah.
I'd be hitting up. I'm starting to hit down a tiny bit, so the game's changing.
Yeah, and path has really changed, and you know something you've been really excited to see.
Well, when I
evolve
started,
a lot.
Liam Mucklow from the Golf Lab is my coach. So when I saw Liam 8 years ago, my path on irons was like +7, +8, and it's been a long journey. So we've brought that down to like 2 or 3, maybe in a bad day 4. So the path is somewhat under control.
Yeah, good.
So we're working on new things now.
You're trying to kind of push that low point further ahead of the golf ball in order to get a slightly better contact and all that sort of stuff. Very cool. All right.
So my missing on irons is a pull hook,
Pulley one.
or a pull.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Pull draw would be my mess.
Your best shots are relatively straight.
Straight,
you'd say?
yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
That sounded really nice.
That's a little bit better.
Yeah, that's more like it, and that's you getting a lot out of that there, isn't it? That's a pretty good carry. That's almost 10 more than what you would expect. Good. I mean, it's exactly what we've been working on to try and kind of neutralize for the 7 years we've been doing it. It's that your delivery has absolutely got more neutral. We just have to key in some things and see if we can stop or reduce the tendency for the face to rotate, because that's all that's really left for us to do there. You're producing tons of energy. You've got lots and lots of good things going on. We just have to start, working on some things to eliminate that rotation if we can.
That's what I was going to say too, because his path and everything looked quite good. Delivery looked good. Just we kept seeing the face being pretty shut to the target. So I think that that will be the interesting thing to see how you can address that face angle coming through.
And I think, Ronnie, with a problem like that we see so many things going on that are working well, and one that's really causing us an issue. We can attack that problem 5 different ways, and hopefully every way that we try to improve it adds incremental improvement, so that when we combine all of those things, it's a very dramatic improvement. That would be our sort of hope for today. Okay. In terms of your own club, what is it? What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? What's good about it? What's bad about it?
I do like the club.
Yeah.
So if you were to ask me my preferences around a club, I prefer a thin top line.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit averse to thick top lines. Of course, if I start performing with it, I might be able to get my head around a thick top
Sure,
line.
yeah.
But I just look at it, I like clubs that do not have an offset. And to be honest, I don't quite understand the whole concept of offsets and what's the purpose and the benefit and how that relates to my game.
Sure.
But I don't like offset, and I just like this club. I don't feel the ball exploding off my club face. I think it's fairly forgiving, but not exceptionally forgiving. But
yeah, we always tried to get you the fastest club that could retain the most amount of loft. That was always what we tried, wasn't it? And
yeah.
I think at that time there was probably quite a lot of irons around that. So your iron is 31 degrees of loft.
Right.
Yep. So the irons 5 years ago were more in that 29 to 31 window. Now they're 26 to 29 is probably more like today's window, which is very different. So. All right, well, let's grab a few options and let's see what we can do. Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay.
So I have a question for you.
Go for it.
Right.
If a month ago we had a fit and you said, Ronnie, what do you want with the irons? I would have said spin, spin, and spin. A little bit of forgiveness and some ball speed would be nice. But watching your videos, it looks like ball speed needs to accompany spin.
Yeah.
So maybe you can talk that through.
For sure, ball speed, that's a really good point, and something that we've, honestly, I mean, you never stop learning doing this stuff. And as technology has gotten better, as we have more options to golf balls that perform in different ways now, our eyes have been opened a little bit, if I'm being honest, to the value of, okay, we can increase your spin by 1,000, and it actually makes zero difference to your ball flight. It may be different when you the ball approaches the green and lands on the green and stops a little quicker. Sure, there'll be more stopping power. You'll be in reverse gear harder, but it actually doesn't make that much difference to your flight. Ball speed will be the dominant factor in making the ball go up, and you need the ball to go up more.
Right.
So you need lots of ball speed with as much spin as we can muster without sacrificing something else, and launch will be what it will be.
So I'm looking for height. And my descent angle, I think, was a shade low, right?
And it's lower than normal because you're turning it over more than normal. But yeah, your angle of descent should be in the 40s.
Right.
Your closest one was 38.9. So we can get it in the 40s today. No question about that. Okay. So let's see what we do. So I won't go into there's a few things at play here. I won't tell you about all of them, but this is the P760, keeping you in the same sort of weight sort of category that you're used to, same range. And I'm also with Ronnie, I'm thinking of you for the next 5 years. I'm not just giving you something that's good for today, right? So, we're being mindful that you probably would like to keep this set for 5 years. And what does that look like? Okay, that was an almost, wasn't it? That was the right delivery, just in a fraction early.
It's a good line on that.
Yep. Really nice.
Yeah, that's good.
So give me your quick initial impressions of the feel and the weight and the look. Are we close? Are we sort of giving you something that you
look.
like? Okay, comfortable with that.
Offset, top line, love it.
Okay.
The club head feels a little bit heavy.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm a middle handicapper, so I don't think I'm good at answer those field type questions, but it felt a little bit heavy. I don't know if the shaft, but
the shaft got lighter, so the club head got proportionately heavier. Yeah. So your awareness. So we dropped you slightly down in weight. So back again to what we're going to be doing for the next 5 years. Maybe that means we drop down a few grams in weight in order to kind of keep that club head speed high and all those sorts of things. Should give you more awareness of where the club head is.
Okay.
That makes sense.
I felt that. Yeah, I didn't know where it was throughout the swing.
Yeah.
But it felt good.
Initially quite good. Okay, let's hit a few more like that. Love that one.
That sounded really good.
That's the one we aspired to hit.
56 on the fly at least.
That contact was tremendous.
That's the best sounding shot
by far
of the day.
Yeah. So initially, you've got a handle of this one fast, because if we look at that, even if we take, there was quite a few with yours that were obviously left, so we're not kind of being, playing favourites with anything here, but you're certainly timing this a little better without really changing too much about your ball flight. So whether that's the Lampkin, plus model grip that I've put on there to take a little bit of the right hand away, whether that's the flatter lie, and like I said, it's probably a bunch of them.
You're going at a bunch of variables and looking for that.
Yeah, I'm coming at this approach to reducing Ron's face rotation from multiple different ways, and one might not work and one might work a lot, but it doesn't hurt to be trying to help you from so many different ways.
What does that shaft, in terms of going lighter, and I'm sure you've done something with bend profile, how does that influence his face angle? Because I don't think that's one we've really talked about. We've talked about shaft, weight, and path.
Yeah.
Are you trying to influence path, or are you mostly just looking at weight for ease of swinging it?
Yeah, I'm more just thinking of the dynamics of Ronnie kind of.
And maybe he's timing it better as a result, and he's starting it more to the right as a result of the timing.
That's for sure. So we're just looking at a window, for Ron of a weight category that I think he can time very well and will be good. Most of the graphite shafts come with a long enough parallel tip section that we can dictate the flex relative to that weight. So most graphite shafts will come, we can probably play within 3 flex codes. So this one, we can play senior, regular, or stiff.
With the same shaft?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, depending on how we cut it. So they start quite long in length, and then we can trim it accordingly.
That's interesting.
So it's, again, the value of the build, right? So it comes down to the prescription is part A, the build is part B. A doesn't work without B.
Of course, yeah.
Right? You need the build to be done correctly to be able to carry that out.
Okay.
Good. Right. Let's leave that as a good option.
Nice.
Okay, Ronnie, last one looked nice. You quite liked it?
Yeah, so I have a question for you. It was a 760, right?
Was, yeah.
Why not the 790? What was your thinking?
Thinner sole.
Okay.
So something we talk a lot about for the player who is a picker. You're not the divot taker.
No.
Your entry point, if there is turf interaction, it's going to happen very close to the ball. So we need to be very mindful of how the leading edge interacts with turf. Pre-worn leading edge on P760, thinner sole, more bendable than P790. We need it flat. We may need it more lofted. Those give us more benefits than a 790, which is forged, but not in the same way. Not in the same way that 760.
And I didn't give up a lot of ball speed then on the...
It seemed like he did.
No, definitely. I mean, the trade-off of ball speed, would 790 be quicker? Yes. Do you need it to be that much quicker? No. We need it to be less left. We need it to be at the right height. We need balance to the flight.
Perfect.
So, and this is in keeping with the same sort of thing. Mizuno MP18 MMC, multi-material head, titanium pad at the back, relocates the mass more to the toe, which brings the MOI up, which brings the forgiveness level up. So of a club that looks very clean, thin top line, less offset, it actually performs very, very forgiving for the player.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this club, so I'm
Neither
curious.
do I actually.
Yeah.
So I've never seen anyone hit these.
This is the MP58 a few years back was a real favourite for Mizuno fans. This is kind of the newer model of that.
Gotcha. All right.
Let's have a look. Love. Oh wow! Look at that.
Huh. That really jumped in it. 110, it's fastest of the day. Job, Ronnie. Ooh.
So Ian, on that one, it felt like the ball exploded off the face.
It did.
I don't know if it's the club or the swing.
It was excellent. Club head speed is at 77, which is really good. Look at the efficiency on that.
Yeah, that's the difference really, is that it outputted so much more.
So much more efficient. 110, that's our fastest. But it just goes to show, Ronnie, people judge brands by, no one thinks of Mizuno like the speed club, or anything like that. But
that's true.
You've got to understand what you're dealing with and who you give it to and what that player will do to it in order to create what that club is. That's the more important part here.
my first reaction to Mizuno was, I'm not worthy.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not a
of
player.
course. Yeah,
some people
I'm not
probably
an Ian or a
feel
Matty. I'm
I
not worthy of it, but that's interesting.
really good.
It's a great swing.
The other thing, those numbers, I aspire aspirational around LPGA TrackMan numbers. I've set, I don't, as a realistic goal for me. So that's close as I've ever been to LPGA ball and club speed.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you've always said that, that's been your goal. I'm curious, just I'm going to throw a couple of those down, and just, I want to see if we can get that. That seems to me like a piece of the puzzle that could get that land angle into the 40s. That was really close there. I love the peak at 71. That's our highest ball flight today, 71 feet. So that's primarily because we've got more speed.
So if you look at everything there, he's almost ideal, but you want a little bit more backspin on the ball?
The ball speed has went up enough that if we can add some spin to that, we're going to be really good here.
So you're adding the Spin Masters so far?
Yeah.
The cut blue?
The cut blue.
It's amazing. It really has helped us in a lot of fittings when we.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Good.
Definitely.
That's the most I'd ever spun a 6-iron myself, so.
And most people have that same wow factor, sort of
right?
500 to 1,000
Really?
for almost everyone.
That's great.
Close. Just a little low in the blade, eh? You wouldn't be devastated with that in any way, shape, or form, though, on the course, would you?
No, absolutely not.
What is that spin?
I know. It's wild. It's wild.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't his best struck either?
No. So you can see from the where the ball lands to where it finishes, even at 10 feet lower, it's actually stopped quicker.
Yeah, with more backspin.
Yeah. So, if we get that same strike, we'll get the launch, we'll get the spin, we'll get the speed, and then we'll package it all together.
I wasn't expecting to see that on the very next shot.
Yeah.
That sounded really good.
Nice, Ronnie.
Sounded well struck to me.
Yeah.
Look at the spin.
Mm-hmm. It's quite interesting, isn't it?
It really is.
First, obviously, that one we can judge more fairly because it didn't go as far right.
Yes.
But first one's into the 40s from a land angle perspective.
That's what you were looking for?
It really was, yeah. Yep.
You're up considerably in spin, Ronnie, from the first couple we've gone through.
So let me ask you, I'm familiar with the cut ball. Would I putt with this ball?
You have
to. What's its performance around the green and
it'll be very soft and lots of spin round the green, and you'd have to make sure if this was going to be a golf ball that you wanted to play, you'd have to go through those shots and make sure that it didn't feel too soft, because it's a good point. When someone is judging it for its attributes, really you want to go from the putting green back to the tee, because that's where you play most of your shots. The single club you hit the ball the most with is the putter. Then you're going to wedge it close. That's the one you can really score with. Irons, obviously, same sort of thing.
That's why I asked the question.
Yeah,
does it feel good on the putting green? So, okay.
But there's your sort of flight differences on the two, attributed a little bit to the open face, but this is pretty good. Let's see a few more.
A few more on this one?
A couple more. Two good ones.
That sounded good.
Love that, Ronnie. Well done. Really good.
Really like that one.
It's another beauty.
You know what? I didn't feel I hit that very well, to be honest.
A little low in the blade. A little toey.
Toey, and I think I may have chunked it a bit.
Well, when your toe is 8 down, we talk a lot about how much we can tilt the club and the benefits of that to controlling the flight. There's trade-offs, and if you're 8 degrees toe down, you are trading off something in that contact. Yeah. So it was okay. I mean, you didn't, looking at your efficiency though, you didn't really sacrifice too much on the ball speed at 104.7. It's fine. No big deal. Bit low for what we would like to see it.
A little chunky again.
Yep, it's okay.
But putting.
That was the best contact, wasn't it?
By far.
Just hung the face a little. Turf interaction doesn't seem as good with this one.
Doesn't sound as good, no.
Sounds like there's some scrapey ones and some kind of different stuff going on with this one.
Is the sole construction different than the?
Well, it is. It's obviously the V-sole is the technology in the bottom of this club, which is for a lot of people. Actually, V-sole works better for steeper guys than shallower guys.
Is that right?
Yeah. It's better if you're down in the turf to get the club out the turf. At the point where your club enters the turf, for a shallow player, that's at the point where the ball is at.
Oh, okay.
It actually doesn't play any real significant benefit. So the other part of this is we're playing it at 2 degrees weak in the standard loft, which kind of adds to the amount of bounce, obviously, that we've got as well. So I'm just seeing enough shots that I don't like to kind of rule this one out, unfortunately, as an option. And I'm not really blaming you for all of those. So you hit enough good shots with the Mizuno to know that was a good club. You hit enough bad shots with this one to know that it wasn't a good club.
Okay.
Okay, Ronnie. Apex Pro, another contender that you probably would not necessarily, think my handicap, my ball flight, all these sorts of things. But it's a forged, fast, has less offset, all those sorts of things that have worked so well for us so far this session. This would absolutely be a contender in my mind.
So I've done my homework. I anticipated the Callaway Apex, but the Pro I did not.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And what am I gaining, what am I losing by going from Apex to Apex Pro? So
you are still multi-material in the head. That's one thing that people have no idea when they hit this thing, that it's the people just think this is like a forged Mizuno or a forged Strixon or something, but this is a multi-material head that has forgiveness built into it, has cup face, so it has lots of ball speed. So it's designed with a lot of tech that's hidden away. So you don't know the amount of tech that you've got going on in your favor here.
Okay.
Okay, just struggling a little bit with that
I don't
one.
know if this, I think it's,
Okay. All right, Ronnie, back to the Mizuno head. We're now at the VA shaft, similar weight. Now we're going to go through some different shafts. We've identified MMC as pretty much being the fairly clear winner. P760 was also quite good, but I think your preferences, our view of the performance, this has been the best one. Okay, so let's hit a few with this.
okay.
Contact was good again.
Yeah, it came
Just
back right away,
lost the
didn't it?
face a little bit, but I'll take that. Nice, Ronnie. Yeah, good contact again. Just a fraction low in the head, but look at the amount of spin that's on that.
And sorry, low in the head, that's because my attack angles.
Yep, that will be your tendency just because of the shallowness of the angle of attack.
That sounded really good.
Really good, wasn't it?
It's a nice flight.
I mean, does it happen where you put a club in someone's hand and they cannot hit it at all?
Yeah, and the opposite. You give them one and it lights them up like a Christmas tree. You can just tell that they do so well with it, and they just like it more than the others.
Yeah, and one thing I like aesthetically, whether it's a putter or driver or iron, I love to be able just to put the club behind the ball, lean on my finger, and it sits so perfectly square.
Doesn't want to fall
it just
open or closed.
It's just ready to go. And this one, whereas the Callaway, it looked like it required a little bit of effort on my part to keep it square.
Yeah, you just looked uncomfortable basically once you started hitting it.
Okay, Ronnie. So as we're trying a different shaft, give me your sort of analysis of what you feel different from the first one.
My feeling, right or wrong, this seems to look a heavier shaft than the other one.
Yep.
Is it?
Marginally, yeah.
Oh, okay. It's funny. I'm shocked that I would be picked up on that, to be honest.
Almost always, people are never wrong about the weight of a club. Normally they feel it. Now, the only time that they might get it slightly wrong is when they say it's heavier and it's actually lighter, but what they're saying is that the head is heavier. Kind of like what you said.
Okay.
You know, I feel the head's very heavy in this one. It's not heavier than normal, it's just the shaft is lighter than you're used to. So yeah, people are quite perceptive about that.
It seems it's taken a little bit more effort to return the face to the ball, but again, that's...
They feel more difficult to swing or
yeah. But that's a guess on my part.
Would that be a function of where the bend point of that is? Is it softer in the butt section, the previous shaft perhaps? The
C6 is quite soft.
It is, okay.
It is quite soft. Yeah, this is a little bit stiffer, even just visually. I mean, you can see, if I grab the C6, Matty, you know, if you kind of just even look and show you the diameter of the shaft, look how different the two are.
Oh, okay. So this is substantially thinner.
Substantially thinner, yeah, and that's in order to play a little bit softer and that sort of thing. So yeah, it will feel quite different for Ronnie, but it's quite noticeable.
Yeah,
isn't
it is. It is
when
very
you see
much so.
that through the diameter. So it's something. The first thing I noticed when we put these on the wall fairly recently was like, that's
thin, isn't it?
That's very, very narrow in diameter, but. You know, it's a really high quality material, so you don't necessarily have to use shaft width as a bit of a crutch for stability.
Gotcha.
It just feels like it requires a little bit more effort and work to get back to the ball.
So was that enough for you to say that that's maybe not the best for Ron because he's feeling the need to kind of push on it? Is that a good time to pull it out of his hand?
Within that time window that we're hoping this is going to be a nice set for him.
Yeah, especially 3-4 years down the road. You don't want him to have to feel like he's whipping at the club today to get it out there.
I don't need you to feel like every time you go play, you have to work yourself up to a point where you're physically able to handle the clubs. We don't need that.
The reality is at 64, I'm probably not going to get stronger. I'm trying, but probably not going to get stronger.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for you, I think you will maintain your speed and strength for the you're active. You're not. You know, from a health standpoint, you're not dealing with anything that's going to cause you a problem there. Okay. I'm going to another shaft I want you to try. Nice, really good.
Nice.
Toey.
Okay, Ronnie. Close.
Hit that pretty well.
Yeah, it was close. Just a tad scrapey and a little open on the face. So a little bit open to the target, but more importantly, open to the path. Definitely not quite got this one dialed in as easily as the C6. We may have had beginner's luck with the first one.
Does that happen very often?
Yeah.
It does happen? Yeah.
It can, yeah.
It can.
For sure. That's a pretty good one for being thin.
You know, that was not a great swing, but I'm putting it just...
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah, it sounded really good.
Really good, wasn't it? Nice, Ron.
Good contact.
Yeah, I mean, efficiency. This is the point where at this part of the session we start to pay a little bit more attention to efficiency because, you know, understandably, fatigue is playing a part, like you said. So no problem. But it lets us know that at 74 miles an hour, that's a really good result because 142 efficiency is about where we were earlier. We were just swinging around 77 earlier, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
that's. I don't look at 147 carry and think that's a bad thing.
I think that's a good note for fittings in general. Is you shouldn't necessarily expect to get to the end of your fit and be swinging as fast.
That's
and as
right.
long as your fitter can keep an eye on the ratio rather than the speed, you won't get sort of the impression that, oh, now this isn't a good choice. Keep going back to the well, and then you really just get too tired.
Yeah. All swings are not created equal.
Yeah.
So you know your input at the time, all that sort of stuff.
Interesting.
I like this a lot for you. Are you comfortable with the package?
I love the way it looks, the way it sits, and I don't think I had a lot of, even the bad shots were a good result.
They were.
Get up and down for a par and take the hole.
I know. I start to exactly. I start to think about, you know, as you're hitting these final shots, and I'm seeing confirmation of the spec and everything come together, and go, okay, what's the longest iron? What's, you know, how do the clubs work around it? And that's where my mind goes to here, because I look at this and go, I'd probably cut you off after 6. I'd probably
6 iron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look to a hybrid.
I'd start to look at, you know, 25, 26 degree hybrid. Some of these new ones that we can play with the line goes like G410.
Yep.
Something that we can play a little flat. You know, I'm starting to go into how do we, you know, blend this into a great set for you.
So my current irons, as you know, are 5 through 9.
Yeah.
I've got a 5 hybrid and a 4 hybrid.
Yeah.
My ego says I'm not ready to give up a 5 iron yet, but we can have that discussion.
Yeah.
But I understand what your thought process is.
If it doesn't benefit him to have it, then that's where you're looking at the 5 iron is probably going to be too low. Despite you make great improvements, and the golf ball can't be understated either. That helped too.
Yeah.
But even with that in place, a 5 iron for Ron is just not really going to be a club that performs as well as a hybrid.
I think there have to be so many things have to be in your favour. The lie, how you're playing on that day. You know, are you swinging well? All those sorts of things that the hybrid will probably protect you against a bunch of those variables. That will make you pull 5 iron or not. But again, this will be part of our ongoing session with you.
The journey continues.
Yeah, that's it. You know, we start to, how do we build a better bag? I want to see you at single figures. I really want this year to be something we can get you down to single figures. If you're 11, 12, that to me does nothing but give me a big target on. I want to get Ronnie down to 9 this year. Right, so I've got to think about that whole bag and how it all performs.
Right. Sorry, last question. Lie angle. Are we gonna keep it up?
We're going to keep it right there at 2 flat. Okay. Those ball flights, you know, we always default to ball flight.
Okay.
And those ball flights, looking at perfect. That's a great illustration as to where you ended up there. So on the left there, you've got your I-25, face closed a lot more. Obviously launch and spin. Big pickup in spin, Ronnie. A lot more stopping power. Yeah. You picked up a few yards, but nothing sort of major. But
no, I think the iron and the shaft changes definitely helped him hit straighter shots and more consistent shots, made better contact, and then you just kind of icing on the cake with the ball, brought the spin up, and gave him just a really good ball fit.
And that's often what that ball recommendation
seems to be doing.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a you know, grand finale, round the whole thing up.
Yeah.
You know, but we'll keep that in mind as we go on this process, if that's the right thing for you.
And even ball speed, I'd say when the session was a little bit earlier and it was a bit fresher, these were more like 108, 109. We're leaving the last couple in there.
Yeah.
So I would say he probably did pick up more like 2.5 miles an hour on average, which is pretty substantial.
Definitely. Yep. And those are good averages for Ronnie. I think get you into mid-season.
Well, because I do hit balls indoor on a GC quad. Yeah. I've been at 99, 102 consistently through the entire year. So
it's good to see that.
For me to come in at 105 was great, and for me to be tracking 107, 109, that's
awesome.
Yeah.
New territory for me.
I just think this is going to be so good for people to get a little change from, you know, Missed our 210
Tummy.
yard 6 hour. But that's this is the real challenges that we face. Matt's challenges have become, how do we dial your irons back a little bit and make them up, make the set balance. Ronnie's is a different challenge, and it's how do we get more performance in a bunch of different ways. But it's all what is relevant to every type of golfer watching this channel.
So I'm hoping of your 31,000 subscribers, someone will relate to me and
I think
kind
many
of my
thousand
challenges.
will.
So
Many thousand.
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of people who will see this and maybe be able to take something from the approach we've taken in order to try and get your ball flight under control. And this has been a big accuracy story today. Trying to kind of get that ball flight under control so that your scoring opportunities are not compromised. I just don't need you swooping that ball across the face of the green and ending up in the front left all the time. If you're short at the pin to pin high in front of the pin, that's good.
Yeah. I'm good from there.
Yeah, definitely.
Sounds like it.
No, good.
All right.
Thank you to both.
No,
thank
all.
you.
Thank
That's
you.
great, Ron.
That was great. And hopefully, guys, like we said, this is all about trying to provide more value for the wider audience.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah, that was really good.
Really good stuff. All right, guys, stay tuned for more videos with Ronnie, and we'll see you again soon.